Hello, my name is Elias Fenta. I'm a full stack developer. Today, I will be teaching a short lesson on the scientific method. In this lesson, we will learn how scientists make observations, ask questions, form hypotheses, conduct experiments, analyze data, and draw conclusions from the experiment. The scientific method. By the end of this lesson, we will be able to understand what is science, know scientific method, and apply the scientific methods to a specific problem, right? So what is science? The first thing before learning about scientific method, we have to know what is science. So the word science comes from the Latin word scientia, which means a knowledge. But science is not just about having knowledge, okay? Science is a unique system of acquiring knowledge based on the scientific method. This science is sometimes called experimental science because it's mainly depend on experimentation to obtain the information. So this is all about the science. So the next one is the topic that we will learn is called scientific method. So what is scientific method, right? So it is the process of investigation by which biologists and all other scientists approach their work to find or produce measurable and reliable results, answer a specific question, right? This is called a scientific method, okay? So science is usually starts with something very simple, notice details around us. For example, you might have seen plants do not grow in all same direction, okay? Some stand straight up, some lean towards the window, some bend strangely. That's an observation, okay? So, and it's exactly how scientists begin their work, okay? So there are almost around 7 or 6 steps of scientific method. So the first one is observation. So observation means paying close attention using our 5 senses. So we see, we hear, we touch, we smell, or even taste to notice details, okay? So in our example, we see that plants grow in different direction. That's not just a random thought, it's the data, okay? So a good observation is clear, specific, and sometimes measurable. So for instance, instead of saying the plant is leaning, you may record the plant stem being 20 degrees toward the window. So that kind of detail is what makes science powerful. So your observation will be you observe that plants grow in different direction. So this can be your observation. The next step, once you observe, curiosity take over. We start asking, right? Which is why this is happening. For our plant, we might ask what makes a plant grow in a certain direction. A good scientific question has to be testable. So instead of asking, uh, do plants like the sun, which is too vague, we ask something measurable like, does the direction of light affect the direction of plant growth? That's a question we can actually test within our experiment, right? So here, your question will be what makes plant grow in a certain direction, okay? This is your question. So before experimenting, the next step is research. So scientists research what already known. This saves time and helps us design smarter experiments. In this case, we might discover phototropism. Phototropism is the process where plants respond to light by growing toward it. We might also read about hormones called auxins, which move inside the plant to cause bending. So research helps us learn from others and refine our questions. So maybe we now ask, it is only sunlight or will artificial light work too? Okay, so this is the research. So you will learn about phototropism or plant respond to the light. This may be your research. Okay, so if it's that, the next step will be hypothesis, right? So this is the fourth step. So what's hypothesis? So which is hypothesis uneducated guess. It is not random, okay? It's based on both our observation and our research. Here is a simple hypothesis. Like the direction of the plant grows depend on the location of the light resource. Notice here how it's specific, testable, and predicts a result. Okay. So if we shine the light from the left, okay, from the left, we expect the plant lean to the left, okay, because the light shine from the left, okay. Um, And if we expect, if the light is above, if the light shine from the above, so the plant should grow upward, okay? So this is our hypothesis. So the direction of the plant grow depend on the location of the light source, okay? This is can be our hypothesis. Okay, so now comes the fun part, which is testing our hypothesis called do experiment, okay? So a good experiment has three important parts, okay? The first one, independent variable. The second one, dependent variable. The third one, controlled variable. So let's see those what does it mean each. So independent variable, the factor we change, okay? The factor that we change when we do our experiment. In this case, it's the location of the light, okay? So we cannot change the location of the light, okay? This is independent variable. Dependent variable is what we measure, right? It's a direction or an angle of the growth of the plant, okay? So the third one is controlled variable. The factor we keep the same, like the type of, it may be the type of the plant soil, it may be the pot size, the water, and the temperature. So how do we test? We could set up three identical plants, one near to the window where light comes from the left, one under the lamp above, and one in the dark room as a control, okay? So we water them equally and measure their growth every day, okay? So maybe we even take photos or videos. The key is constantly record data carefully in a table or a notebook, okay? So this is the experiment. You can set up an experiment using plant, record your data through the notebook or something, whatever you want. It may be preferred to use a notebook. So the next step is analysis, okay? After a week, we'll have real data, okay? Analysis means comparing what we expect with what we actually happened, okay? Did the plant near the window lean towards the light? Did the one under the lamp grow straight up? Or did the one in the dark grow weak, or crooked, okay? So we can show results in graphs or chart. Maybe we plot the angle of the growth over time, or analysis also means checking. So analysis actually means checking for errors. Did one plant get more water? Was one clogged the other heater? Those detail matters, okay? So this is the sixth step, what worked and did not work during the experiment, okay? The next one is conclusion. So finally, we make a conclusion. This is where we summarize what we learned and decide whether our hypothesis is supported. If our plants consistently grow toward the light, then our hypothesis was correct. But light does affect the direction of growth. If the result were mixed, we might say the hypothesis is only partially supported. And we would suggest more tests. So science is never about proving we were right. It's about following the evidence, okay? So conclusions often lead to new questions and more experiments. So this is the last step. This is the general overview, okay? So we started with simple observation. Like our observation was, if you remember, plants grow in different direction. And the second is the question. So the question you asked or we asked was, what makes plant grow in a certain direction? And the third step was research, okay? So we learned about phototropism, right? So which is how plants respond to a light source. And the fourth one is hypothesis. So in this hypothesis, we predicted that the prediction of plant, okay, the direction of plant growth depends on depending on the location of the light source, right? So if the light is shining from the left, so the plant will grow on the left, bend to the left. If the light is shining from the top, so the plant will bend or grow to the top. So this is the hypothesis, okay? And the fifth one is experiment. So we set up plants in different light conditions, measure their growth, and record the data. This is the experiment. And the sixth one is analysis, okay? So we compare the expected growth direction with the actual growth of each plant to see patterns. And the last one and the final one is a conclusion. So you conclude that plants grow toward the light, supporting your hypothesis about phototropism. So this is all about. Thank you.